போயாச்சு மேடம்.
சார் யூடியூப் லைவ் லிங்க்
போயாச்சு மேடம். பேசுங்க மேடம். போயாச்சு. மேடம் யூடியூப் கனெக்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு.
எங்கும் நிறைந்த இறைவா, எங்கும் நிறைந்த இறைவா, எம் நெஞ்சில் நிறைந்திட்ட கருணை பெரும் கடலை, எம் நெஞ்சில் நிறைந்திட்ட கருணை பெரும் கடலை, வருவாயையா தருவாயையா, வருவாயையா அருள் தருவாயையா, எங்கும் நிறைந்த இறைவா, புவி எங்கும் நிறைந்த இறைவா, வற்றாத ஞானமும் வளமான
Let's begin this meet with prayer song. Thank you, one and all. This is the time to welcome our chief guest of today. So I request our President Sir, Dr. G. Maris Kumar Sir, to welcome the chief guest of today. I welcome you.
Good afternoon to everyone. Yeah, I'm Dr. Maris Kumar, President of this college. Yeah, the college is for past 27 years it's running successfully. Okay. Yeah, it's audible, I think.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay. Respected chief guest of this function, that is seminar webinar on social entrepreneurship, Swatchhata and rural engagement, and our my dear staff members, respected principal, and head of the departments, all the faculty, my dear students. It's a worthy title, social entrepreneurship, Swatchhata and rural engagement, and the apt and fittest person be the chief guest of this occasion, Mr. Naveen Kumar. Yeah, with the rich heritage, the experience he has so far served for the society is the lengthiest one. Yeah, our nation is a widest one with all kinds of races, class, community, different type of the behavior, everything. There may be rural, urban, city, metropolis, and some tribe people are there. So it's a long awaited plan for Swatchhata, that means cleanliness. Our Prime Minister has started the Swatchhata scheme. Since it has an age-old one, from the very beginning of Mahatma Gandhi, who inaugurated how to clean or how to follow the steps. There are various hundreds and number of ways he has found. There are very few to follow. Since he is the Mahatma Gandhi, father of our nation, The recent development after the government has initiated Swachh Bharat. It's a very good scheme. Really, one should know. So I think it may be somewhat different. The person or the personality, so Naveen Kumar, the project chief program coordinator, Swachhata Action Plan 2020, MGNCRE and DHE, Government of India. It's an out person. Since I have gone through his resume and the services he has made for the society so far, he has worked and developed bioinformatics tools for predicting colon cancer at the Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. Then about is a guest faculty for medical microbiology for Indo-American Cancer Hospital and the Yashoda Hospital, Hyderabad. Worked with Tech Mahindra Foundation for skill development for youth. And he worked for 12 years in community engagement through Vivekananda Rock Memorial and Vivekananda Kendra. Joined NGNCRE designated for Swachhata Action Plan for Project 2019 as a monitoring officer, and the same for Swachhata Action Plan for Project Jalshakti Campus and Gram 2020. The Jalshakti is a recent one, which should be completed. Yeah, how to use. One has to watch, listen carefully, the faculty and the students, because as the future is in the hands of the students, how to strengthen the Jalshakti. It's a new concept. There are very few nations completed and won the battle. They united the rivers and so various forms of utilization of the Jalshakti they are following. Several countries we can quote. But India, with the perennial rivers, we have to look after the scheme Jalshakti. So, sir, Mr. Ravi Kumar is capable of doing such services in the Jalshakti campus and Gram in 2020. And he's conducted action research projects and guided interns and rural community engagement and content analysis, rural components in education. So these are the very lengthy resume, and also it gives a Gandhiji Nile Talim faculty development for programs in charge and the birth anniversary celebrations. So such a rich heritage he has given. We have a very good apt and celebrity. He is a celebrity, I think, because very few persons have such a capacity and capabilities. So I once again welcome Mr. Naveen Kumar. Yeah, thank you. So, and also I came to know from our principal and our coordinator, Mrs. Meena Lochini, and all of the staff members who told about a very few words he uttered in Tamil. Yeah, Naveen Kumar. Yeah, it's very fortunate to have such a chief guest. Our students are nearly 2,000, sir. Yeah. Since the classes are going online classes, it will be useful for them. They have trained almost for the past 5 months, the ongoing classes, and writing the exams in online classes. So it's a time. So we are very fortunate to have such a chief guest. We request our chief guest to visit Madurai after Corona threat. Yeah. So I think it may be a substitute for the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Scheme, 100 Naal Velai Thittam, 100 days. So that is a vain attempt, I think, vain attempt. There are several places in which they are spending money lavishly, not working. Even the people who crossed 70 years of age, they used to sit and talk with themselves. After 1 hour, they leave the place and getting the amount from the bank. So SAR is going to inaugurate the entrepreneurship Swachhata, rural engagement, how to engage. So our principal and the coordinator said that the students' involvement in this program will be very useful. So chief guest is going to give a very good picture on how to involve the students, the student community for the rural development or the engagement on the purpose of Swachhata. So I think it's a very good initiative of the government and also the chief guest of this function, the webinar, and the social entrepreneurship, Swatchhata and rural engagement. So I once again welcome and complete my president's address of welcome once again all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will all say, we did ourselves. One such leader is our president. Thank you, sir, for your motivations. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nipple go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed behind him from behind. So this is the most awaiting time for our chief guest to listen to his special speech. So now I welcome Mr. Naveen Kumar, Project Chief Program Coordinator, Swachha Action Plan 2020. So this is your time, sir, and give this on in your hand. Let me welcome you, sir. Thank you, sir.
சகோதரிகள் மற்றும் சகோதரர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். My best wishes to this higher education institution, Nadar, Mahajana Sangam, Sermathai, Vasan College for Women, Madurai. My heartfelt best regards for all of you who are watching this program. My special heartfelt regards for the president of this higher education institution, the correspondent of this higher education institution, the secretary of this higher education institution, the treasurer of this higher education institution, and the principal of this higher education institution, and also to all the faculty members, head of the departments who have been relentlessly working for Swachhata and various outreach programs. And I'm very happy today to spend time with you regarding social entrepreneurship, Swachhata, and rural engagement. Through Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education, entire India, we have been forming social entrepreneurship, Swachhata, rural engagement committees. These committees will hold a ladder which has 3 steps: internship, apprenticeship, and entrepreneurship. The faculty members hold this ladder firmly. At the same time, students should also have interest to climb this ladder. The more interest we have, the more the higher education institution will support the interest of the student. This is the first preliminary ground, a requirement that we require for understanding SES, REC, Swachhata, or rural engagement, or social entrepreneurship. Now today in this webinar, I would like to focus on these 3 areas by giving a basement, a foundation, a grounding for SES, REC committee. First and the prime thing is Swachhata is kept at the center, and on the left side we wrote social entrepreneurship. Right side we wrote rural engagement. Actually, we write from left side to right side. That's why we have written like that. But if you ask me to write them or keep them one above the other, then first I will keep rural engagement at the base. Rural engagement ke mele I will put Swachhata. Aduk mele I will put social entrepreneurship. In that arrangement, we can see that rural engagement is the base. We need to study our rural areas. Especially, Madurai is connected to rural areas. And we have opportunities to go to rural areas. When we go to rural areas, our main work is to learn. Rule number 1, when we go to rural engagement to visit, or when we visit a rural area, a village, rule number 1 is we need to learn. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. That means learn. Learn, learn, learn. And we need not teach them anything. We need not teach the householders of the villages anything. We can serve them. We can facilitate them. We can facilitate them in finding an opportunity for applying their solutions. Village householders, they have challenges. They have many challenges in villages. And they have their own solutions. Capacity building of the youth for implementing their solutions for their challenges is important. In that area, we can offer our service. Activity-oriented service can be given. Our rural visit is not a teaching visit. Our rural visit is learning visit. Why we need to learn? We need to learn because villages have been existing for hundreds of years. Villages have been existing for thousands of years. Long back, if we go to the history of Madurai, when we learn the story of Kannagi, the story of Madurai, the story of the business of Pumpuhar, we understand that villages have been existing for hundreds and hundreds of years. And when these villages are existing, the indication is they are sustainable in themselves. The villages are viable. Generations and generations have passed in these villages. So, by mere book reading, we cannot teach the villagers how to lead a sustainable life. because they have been living. They have been living for years. They are already into a systematic fold of culture and civilization. And when we go to villages, we need to keep this in mind that they are into a culture and a civilization. Usually what happens when we visit villages, we identify pitfalls and errors because it's our human nature that whenever we see something, we first go towards the things which are odd, which are not suitable to us, or which we cannot understand. So naturally, what happens? Naturally, we jump into conclusions. We jump into conclusions which may not be correct, or we need to do a deep study to arrive at few things. So when we learn, when we start learning with reverence, we will understand the village life, the sustainability, the viability of village habitat, the ecosystem of village. Page after page, the village will open its book. It's a living book, and we learn many things. And when we learn, then first important thing that we will learn is there is no concept of job in village. There is no concept of pension in village. There is no concept of absolute hand holding in village. Every village has in one or the other way a family business, family enterprise, or village enterprise, agriculture, and various other enterprises. Everybody is into one or the other assignment. Everybody is into one or the other task, and everyone has got their own entrepreneurship in the form of agriculture, poultry, animal husbandry, dairy, artisans, craftsmen, and in this way we can give many examples. So the first learning that we need to keep in our mind is the concept of job. Job is a J-O-B. Job is a journey to business. Be it agriculture, be it any crafts, what we see in villages is they learn, children learn skills, youth learn skills, and they go for their own earnings. They stand on their feet. Of course, later on in few villages, we have implemented through various policies, we have implemented various schemes. But naturally, if you study, then you will find that all the villages have their own mechanisms of working and earning. Such is the balanced ecosystem of village. So, learning the village physical aspects, conceptual aspects, dynamics, and the ecosystem balance, the productive value, the aesthetic value of the village is very, very prime and very important. Then, once we arrive at the secret of sustainability of a village, then we will understand what we require in our life to sustain or to stand on our own feet. Many of the students, like after the year 2000 or 2001, they must have got an exposure of like media, exposure of movies and television or any other watching videos on YouTube, and they got that exposure of a plastic world, a virtual world. But villages give a practical world, and practical world will always shoot us a question: can you stand on your own feet? The village habitat, the forest, the connected roads, the water bodies, everywhere, if we go, then there is only one question from the nature in the village: can you stand on your own feet? If you marry, can you run the family with the strength of your shoulders? And that is very important question a village puts us. And sitting at higher education institutions, we need to find an answer for that. It is not that always there is a a scientific superstition. We have social superstitions and also scientific superstitions, that after education we need to go for a job. So after education, if we say that we are going for a job, then I think that is a scientific superstition which has to be broken into pieces. Even if we go to a job, it is journey for business. So one logic I told you, second one I will tell you. If we need to go for a job after our graduation, then some entrepreneur should give you a job. We always take the side of a job holder, but we do not want to take the side of an entrepreneur. That is the only one difference. It is the only one line difference, one margin difference, which divides our mind. After graduation, shall we go for entrepreneurship or job? That is the only difference that will tell us whether we are moving towards our self-actualization. Every person in this world should stand on their feet. Finding shortcuts or finding for a base that is easy for life is not actually the experience of our great saints. The great philosophers and saints who had a pragmatic way of life said that we need to be very practical and we need to stand on our own feet. And that is very important. And for that, entrepreneurship is a solution. And once we enter into entrepreneurship, we will enjoy the taste of our learning. So this is some of the preliminary concept which I would like to make here as a grounding for my talk. So rural engagement, from my view, I have given a clear picture, and whatever I have learned from my experience, I have told you, and whatever I am doing through MHRD, I am telling you. Every village, when we learn their system, their culture and civilization, we are learning actually the viability and sustainability. And always village puts a question for every person, every youth, that is, can you stand on your own feet? Now let's move to Swatchhata. Swachhata means, as we know that Swachhata means external cleanliness. Swachhata means internal purity of mind. When we work for external cleanliness, when we work for external setup, keeping the things in orderly positions, keep making the place for everything and keeping in their own places, when we make such type of things, sorting, setting, and uh, maintaining them, then naturally it is a swachhata. Yes, I accept. And when we are working for that cleanliness and orderliness, naturally our mind will also be very much orderly in thinking. Thought process will also be nice, and we will enter into some noble thoughts, and we spread noble thoughts, which we need to always encourage from all directions. So that is a thing about swachhata in a philosophical way. But when it comes to practical way, when it comes to academics, what is swachhata? Swachhata can be identified or described or can be noted or can be understood or can be followed in 5 forms. In 5 major forms, we can understand about Swachhata. There are 5 components of Swachhata which will ensure us that we are following the Swachhata. We are having the Swachhata. Number 1, greenery. Number 2, water. Number 3, waste management. 4, energy. 5, sanitation and hygiene. Greenery management, water management, waste management, energy management, sanitation and hygiene management. These are the 5 components of Swachhata. Not only locally, but globally universal components of Swachhata. When I use the word management, I said greenery management, water management, waste management, energy management, and sanitation and hygiene management. When I use the word management, the meaning is these components are measurable. These components are monitorable. We can monitor these components. And we need to measure them, we need to monitor them, and we need to manage them. Why? Because these 5 components, greenery, water, waste, energy, sanitation, and hygiene, these components are liable for entering into imbalance. Imbalance means they are not stable. They are unstable. Greenery is unstable. Water is not stable. So they are at imbalance. Waste. All these 5 components, they are always at imbalance, and our work is to balance them. Whenever there is a great biomass and decaying biomass from the greenery of our campus, then we need to keep the campus clean by removing the biomass, by removing the decaying leaves and flowers. Waste is getting generated every day in our departments, maybe in the form of waste papers or in the form of chemical effluents or broken glassware, broken furniture, or using plastic, canteens, hostels. So waste is getting generated. When waste is getting generated, then we need to bring a balance and ensure that the waste is not disturbing us. And in the same way, sanitation and hygiene, if that is not taken care, then communicable diseases along with the waste will definitely affect us. And in our campus or in village, whenever we talk of these components of Swachhata, then naturally the first thing that comes to our mind is we need to work voluntarily. We need to work voluntarily for energy saving. We need to work voluntarily for keeping the environment, I mean, the sanitation and hygiene in neat and tidy condition, refreshed condition for that matter, and water harvesting, water saving, reusability of water, treatment of water, energy, solar energy, saving the energy, or with the help of solar panels we can sell the energy to the government, to the grid, and working with the biomass. All these things are the components of Swachhata when we think about these components in terms of higher education institution, campus or village. And we need to give our voluntary services. That's what comes to the mind first. When we think of Swachhata, voluntarism comes to the mind. Yes, it is correct. Voluntarism is a noble character in human being. Human beings work voluntarily, but always Swachhata should not squeeze our services in the name of voluntarism. If 25 people are voluntarily working for Swachhata activity, it should not happen that that activity demands continuously the voluntary action by the 20 people, or for that matter any people. So Swachhata activities require always a maintenance, and always we should not donate that or channel that deviate or channel that voluntarism towards Swachhata. Always we have many other things where we need to concentrate. So Swachhata activities require some sort of sustainability and maintenance for themselves. Swachhata activities, greenery, water, energy, sanitation, hygiene, they require some approach where the approach takes care of the Swachhata. So that tool is social entrepreneurship. When we take this tool, social entrepreneurship tool, and apply it to Swachhata, Swachhata is at balance. The Swachhata system goes on. The systematic approach to maintain the conditions, monitor the conditions, measure the conditions of Swachhata, the status of Swachhata in campus or village will be very easy, and we can have a check on it. We always work voluntarily, that is nice. But now this tool has to be applied. Social entrepreneurship is a tool. It is also called as the hybrid model of profit and non-profit methods of business. And now let me go towards throw some light on social entrepreneurship, some basics of social entrepreneurship, some features of social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship means, of course, there is a word called entrepreneurship. Definitely, it is a business. And there is also one more word called social. And this word social is very important because it carries contextually various meanings. But here in this context, what is the word social is implying that we need to understand. Here in this particular context, social entrepreneurship, social means working, bringing a business concept, business model, business design for social challenges, involving various stakeholders of society, involving people from society. So these two things are very important. I told social here means working for a social challenge and involving people here. and making investment with the help of people. So all these come under social entrepreneurship. So that much is enough here in this context when we use the words social entrepreneurship. Now, some salient features, some characteristic features of social entrepreneurship I will tell you. And again, we will see how this social entrepreneurship can be applied on Swatchhata activities. So, social entrepreneurship is a tool or it's a business approach. Social entrepreneurship means we need to develop a business model by picking up a social challenge. Social challenge means a common challenge, a problem that everybody faces. Generally, what is a common problem for everybody? Individually, we have our own challenges, our own issues. At family or household level, we have our own challenges and issues. But when we come to society, then we have some challenges which are very, very common, and everybody are having these challenges. And I want to use the word challenge because when we are using the word problem, nowadays we are not using the word problem, but when we say the word problem, then it may be quite, something like obstruction in the mind. So challenge means naturally we will have a solution or a remedy, and we can tide over the unfavorable thing. So challenge can be given a champion answer. So we have social challenges like waste is a social challenge. Water is a social challenge. I'm again giving the examples of the components of Swachhata only. Sanitation and hygiene is a social challenge. Balance of greenery is a social challenge. Energy is a social challenge. So now we can understand that social entrepreneurship is highly suitable for Swachhata because social entrepreneurship, the very definition, the DNA of social entrepreneurship is pick up a social challenge and give a business model as a remedy for checking the social challenge, to fix the social challenge, to overcome the social challenge, to overcome the disadvantages. So pick up a social challenge and give a needful remedy, exact solution. These are the first two important points, important characteristic features of social enterprise. Any social business, any social enterprise, when we are running, we need to base our social enterprise on working for social challenge. If we are not working for social challenge, then it is not social entrepreneurship. It's very clear. If you want to do a business with an innovation, if you want to do a business with innovation by innovating a product and marketing it, then naturally that is entrepreneurship, but it's not social entrepreneurship. If we innovate a thing, a product, and we want to sell it in public, that is not the meaning of social entrepreneurship. That is only entrepreneurship. It is for profit. That is profit-based factory or profit-based industry or profit-based business activity, commercial activity. Ana idilla social entrepreneurship artham working for a social challenge, for a social issue, which is common to everybody again. So that is the first important thing. The next one is, the two things I told you. The first pair is pick up a social challenge and give a necessary remedy. Now, the second pair, Two more things I will tell you. Work on things that are getting generated. Work on things that are getting generated and which require a logical end. Work on the things that are getting generated and which require logical end. For example, food is getting generated in the forest. We have forest products. Food is, there are some fruits which we get in forest, and that fruits come from forest. They are transported, they are packed, buying and selling, all these things happen, and finally we get them. At every step of its travel from forest to our mouth, how many, I mean, we must have, we may be having many transactions happening, and every transaction is a business. Every transaction is an economical activity. One more example I can tell you, like paddy, like rice is food grains are grown by farmers, and food grains come from the crops, fields, and they go to rice mill or mills, and from there again they go to markets, and from markets again they go to somewhere a hotel, and from in hotel we eat food, consume food. So at every step there is an economic activity. So we need to work on things that are getting generated and which have logical end. And now I will give that example. First two things I told you. Pick up a social challenge and offer needful solution. For example, solid waste is a social challenge. In the same way, solid waste is getting generated and it requires an end. And whatever happens between these two extremes, generation of waste and logical end of the waste, that is an economic activity, that is a business. Social entrepreneurship, I repeat, we need to work on social challenge. We need to pick up a social challenge. Then we need to give social remedy, a solution, exact solution we need to give. And in social entrepreneurship, we need to work on the things that are getting generated and which require an end. And finally, two more things are important. Two more things are very, very important, and I will tell you what are those two more things. There is one story. There is one story called The Hare and the Tortoise, Rabbit and the Tortoise. Once there was a race between tortoise and rabbit. So the rabbit needs to reach the destination. Tortoise needs to reach the destination. Rabbit started running quickly, and it thought that I will take rest for some time, thinking that tortoise is very slow. But it took a nap, and that was a very long nap. Meanwhile, tortoise slowly walked towards the destination and it won the race. And that is what happened. We all know the Aesop fable, the hare and the tortoise, the rabbit and the tortoise story we know. Ana, adanal malaila, eveningla, rabbit was very much disturbed. Rabbit, it called tortoise and said, "Tortoise, tomorrow there is a race again, you need to come." And tortoise said, okay. So rabbit shared the WhatsApp location to the tortoise, and tortoise reached the next day exactly at 9 a.m. There was a race. And this time, rabbit did not sleep. And rabbit reached the destination, and tortoise lost the race. That day, rabbit was winner on the second day. Anna, that was not the end. Third day, there was a race. This time, tortoise gave the location. And both of them started the race, and they want to reach the destination. So rabbit was running quickly, tortoise was walking as per its speed. After some time, there was a water stream, Aru, river water stream was there. Now it was water. Rabbit cannot swim. So rabbit took a right turn and it traveled 30 kilometers to find a bridge. Meanwhile, tortoise has crossed the water stream and reached the destination. Now, tortoise won the race and rabbit lost the race. Both of them started thinking. One time somebody will win, somebody will lose. Based upon the talent, based upon the competency, based upon the skill, they are the winners. So they thought, why don't we have a venture? Why don't we start a collaborative work? So they had a collaborative work. They wanted to reduce the traveling time from one point to another point. So next day morning, they decided a destination point and they started their collaborative work of reaching that destination point. And wherever there was land, rabbit was running and tortoise was sitting above the rabbit. And wherever there was water, tortoise was swimming and rabbit was sitting on the back of tortoise. So that has happened. And here we see that it is the collaboration, the donation of competency, talent, and skill is important. And here we understand that we need to share the responsibility also. So in social entrepreneurship, these 6 things are important. I repeat, the first one, that we noted, first 2 points we noted is, we need to pick up a social challenge and give exact needful remedy. Second one, I mentioned that we need to work on the things that are getting generated and which require logical end. And 2 more things, sharing of competency and sharing of responsibility. That is very important. If that is not there, social entrepreneurship cannot run. Social business cannot run. The approach will fall down. So for the stability, for the sustainability, for the viability of social entrepreneurship, these things are important. And this social entrepreneurship concept exactly matches for picking up the activities of Swatchhata. That is the beauty. And that is the logic why social entrepreneurship is directly connected to Swatchhata. And Swatchhata is our main motto. Swachhata problems are Common problems. Swachhata challenges are common challenges, and these common challenges require needful remedy. That's why social entrepreneurship, which is a business model, which is a business which has got circulation of money, will keep the Swachhata in a balanced condition. When we apply social entrepreneurship to greenery, then greenery is maintained. When we apply social entrepreneurship to water, then water is always there. When we apply the concept to energy, then energy utilization becomes optimum. When we apply this social entrepreneurship, then Swachhata and sanitation and hygiene becomes maintained. And now we will see some examples. Now I said we need to work for social issues. There is a person in Chennai. Her name is Madam Arul Priya. She is basically a software testing tools software employee. So one day she was looking at Almara, and she was looking at a plastic cover, polythene cover hanging, a big size polythene cover. And she was thinking, this big size plastic cover is going to become a pollutant or unwanted thing in the nature, and that will disturb the social life. And she was thinking, what can be a remedy? What can be an exact remedy? And she thought that cotton bag with pockets inside is exact remedy. And she started social entrepreneurship with making bags, cotton bags. And she made cotton bags and she started selling. She gave employment for 2 people at the beginning. And later on, now employees also increased. And they are all social stakeholders. They give their competency and they share the responsibility, and they own the responsibility and own the business also. And that type of binding energy is there in social entrepreneurship. And Arul Priya madam, she worked on this concept, and now she gave a remedy to plastic bags. One more example I will tell you. She worked on solid waste management, like plastic cover, unnorum example. That is, sanitary pads, diapers for children or old age citizens. All these diapers or sanitary pads, whatever we get in market, are not decomposable. We cannot decompose them even after 500 years. That is the thing. Of course, plastic is impossible to get decomposed. So naturally, now sanitary pads, they generate and they come with biological waste. Diapers, they generate because children are there. So children are there. So naturally, we require the usage of diapers. But when we learn these things from villages, we understand that cotton sanitary pads and cotton diapers are sufficient for maintaining the personal hygiene and dealing with the biological waste. And Arul Priya madam, her organization name is Namabhumi. The Namabhumi organization has started preparing sanitary pads with cotton cloth and diapers with cotton cloth, which are washable and reusable. Even if we throw them by mistake, if they get mixed with soil somewhere, also they get decomposed, within 40 to 50 days. So that she gave as a remedy, and she worked on it, and now she is selling these products. And where is the role of higher education institutions? The higher education institutions have given her the design. They helped with the exact design of the sanitary pads and diapers, the texture, the color. That is very helpful. The psychology department has helped. What is the child psychology? What is women's psychology? How we have to go for all these things in that way. She took a lot of help from others. That is what the story of rabbit and tortoise, sharing of the talents, skills, competencies, and taking the responsibility. And that is how she started the social entrepreneurship based on these few things only. And whatever social entrepreneurship is doing, that we do on the needful things, and wherever we are doing work on the needful things, then essentially there is very less risk, and there is no no question of no money circulation. So money circulation is always there. In that way, there are many like examples and case studies regarding social entrepreneurship. And one more important person I remember, her name is Mrs. Priydarshini. Now she is in Guinness Records also. Priydarshini, that madam, she collects waste from the OMR region, Mamlapuram region, Chennai. And whatever the waste is collected, especially the furniture, the old furniture is broken into small pieces, and stools and small chairs are made and that are sold. That is called upcycling. Not only that, after segregation of the solid waste, she sends things to recycling, but she also does upcycling of things. And not only this furniture, there are many things which she will reutilize. That is called upcycling. And I will show you one example. So this is a bag. This is a bag made up of cardboards. This is written Nestle. This is Nestle milk powder or Tetra Pak, and this is made up of that type of cardboard. Yes, and this is a product which she got from a big size briefcase bag, and these are the cardboards. Like I will tell you, this Maza. So this is a cardboard. It contains aluminum inside, aluminum sheet also. In the same way, these cardboards also contain, and they will not decompose easily. So what she made is, she made a beautiful bag out of this. And that's what I learned from her, and I am also doing the same things at my home. So like that, upcycling is very important, and it's a social entrepreneurship business. We need to start this type of business. I will give one more example. There is a temple called Kapaleshwara Temple in Mylapore, Chennai. In 2009, when I went there, the temple tank, the tank water is fully filled with flowers, leaves, garbage, polythene covers, coconut fibers, and all these things, all oil, all this stuff is there. So there was a lot of pollution in the temple tank. Later on, that was a social issue, and later on somebody applied social entrepreneurship concept. And today, if we see, The Abhishekam flowers, the Bilva Patras, the Bilva Ilai, all this which we use in puja, Abhishekam, are taken into one corner of the temple. And the temple has cows. They mix the flowers and leaves with cow dung and they decompose. After decomposing, with the help of that decomposed matter, they make udbatti, agarbatti, udbatti, incense stick, and that is sold. And it has got a nice smell because of the flowers. And that is called Mangaldeep Agarbatti, facilitated by ITC. This project is facilitated by ITC company, and that Udbatti market la adu peru Mangaldeep Agarbatti. And we know Mangaldeep Agarbatti is famous entire India now. Adu project peru Tangai Pushpakam. In that way, there are many villages with this type of Udbatti production, and turnover, monthly turnover is 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs in villages, where women usually does these things when they have free time. So in this way, social entrepreneurship will have products which are useful for society because they are the essential needs. They are the needs. Now in campus also we see that there are a lot of flowers, sticks, leaves which are decaying, which fall down. And whatever these things are there, we can decompose them in the campus yard and convert them into vermicompost. And that vermicompost can be sold. So students can start this business idea. They can start vermicompost, or manure can be made, and that manure can be sold at the entrance of the college gate. KL University in Andhra Pradesh, they have this concept of vermicompost and composting any decaying matter. And students also, they took interest and kept sensors in the corners of the dumping yard for where we prepare this vermicompost. That sensors will find out the moisture and humidity, and they are connected to the motors, and based on the requirement of moisture and humidity, they sprinkle the water. One more example I can give you, like PSMO College, Pokar Sahib Memorial Orphanage College, Kerala. They have this social entrepreneurship concept for their children. Like the vehicles will go to town. They collect the hair from the barber shops, and that hair they bring and mix with the decomposting material, like leaves and other things from greenery component, and like vermicompost also they mix, and hair also gets decomposed. And hair is rich in amino acids, rich in nitrogen, and they sell it as biofertilizer. So that area is also very important. In campuses, we can grow flowers and we can learn to make bouquets. And for example, in Hyderabad, we have florists, we have bouquets, and each shop makes a money of rupees 60,000 per day. I'm not talking about month. Per day, 60,000 is the minimum collection. The price of the bouquet doesn't depend on the flowers or colors, but depends on the arrangement, how beautifully you decorate a bouquet and arrange and give. So from 100 rupees to 4,000 rupees bouquets are available. And that too organic, not using any plastic things. So that is the important creativity that we have in this sector of greenery. When if we have a very big size campuses, then we can grow these mulberry plants and grow the silkworms like one university does in Kolhapur, Shivaji University. This training center is also there. In the same way, beekeeping, honey beekeeping boxes can also be kept, and many flowering plants can be grown. Olericulture can be started. Bonsai plants can be made. Bonsai plants means, like for example, take one alamaram. At the alamaram, we need to prune the leaves, newly coming ilai. If we prune for 7 years or 8 years, then at the alamaram, in the 1 feet height la alamaram madri it will grow. That is called bonsai technique. That can be started. That is a business in greenery. And there are some students, like in KL University, I told na, in the vermicompost, they add azatobacter, Bizarnikia, and rhizobium bacteria, which are nitrogen fixing bacteria. And this bacteria, when added, it becomes biofertilizer. So we need to add social entrepreneurship to Swatchhata, the activities of Swatchhata. I will give one more example. There's a beautiful campus in Tiruchirappalli, Dhanlakshmi Srinivasan College campus. Dhanlakshmi Srinivasan College campus, the canteen size is very big and 7,000 students eat breakfast, lunch and dinner. Hostels are there, colleges are there, group of colleges are there, and very big area is there. And in that canteen, there is a lot of water requirement. For washing the hands, we require minimum 2 liters of water, and 3 times they require 7,000 students, 3 times 2 liters of water, 42,000 liters of water they require. And from where they get? There is a high pressure on the management. For daily purchasing, daily 15,000 rupees we need to spend. It's highly impossible. So they started harvesting the water from the beginning itself. All the rooftop water is collected into water body, and from there everyday drinking water is met, need is scattered. And whatever the open area is there, that open area rainwater is collected in one more place, and that is sent to primary treatment, secondary treatment and third tertiary treatment, and it is useful for all the non-drinking purposes, non-potable usages, all washing clothes, utensils, everything, bathing also it can be used. That much perfect water they make. And one more example I remember from Satyabama University, Chennai. There is a very big canteen. 5,000 students every day have food there. At the entrance of the canteen, you can see a blackboard. Ange avaru elidirar. Today, 425 kgs wasted, 440 kgs wasted, 435 kgs of water is wasted. And the madri avaru elidirar entrance la blackboard mele. Yedakku? To give the average, and whatever the waste is coming, that will be going to biogas plant. So it is unavoidable waste. We cannot avoid some waste. When 5,000 students are eating, we get food waste. 430 kg is a very less waste. They are trying to avoid waste, but still unavoidable wastage is there, and that is going to biogas plant, and from there methane is coming, and again that gas is used in the canteen. 18 cylinders are saved per month. In that 18 cylinders, we can pay salary of 2 non-teaching staff of the college. And when we replicate it, when we apply it to a larger area, that turns into a business. And that is the very big size biogas plant is maintained in Mablapuram Road. And from there, from many hotels, the food stuff will come, and every day gas is generated, and it is cylindered also. And with that cylinder, with the scrubber technology, that gas is also used for generation of electricity in diesel generator as a backup. In Amma canteens also, we have this concept of using the biogas plant, and 6 cylinders are on average saved every month. We have gas, biogas, many varieties are available now in the market. Only just they cost 28,000 rupees to 40,000 rupees, including installation. That old methods are gone. Now the drum madri, syntax drum madri irukku. So like that, there is a scope for social entrepreneurship. And especially when we are in college, we need to think about all these things. We need to study and implement what we learn and convert a business idea into a practical entrepreneurship. We can study in Porur Ramchandra College. There is a beautiful concept of water harvesting, and also Nakshatravanam. Nakshatravanam means it is believed, there is a belief that a zodiac sign is associated with a tree, and if we serve the tree will give us peace of mind and good health. In that way, they have a Nakshatravanam in Porur Ramchandra College. And there you see a lot of greenery, full of canopy, umbrella madri, green color canopy is there in entire campus. And all are native plants and native trees, indigenous plants, indigenous trees. And these indigenous plants and indigenous trees will give or attract indigenous native insects. When native insects are coming, so naturally the native insects will attract birds, and birds will eat these insects and also the fruits of that native plants, and they spread them elsewhere. And for that matter, there is a beautiful website of Tamil Nadu Forest Department website irukku. Mavattam, enter the name of the district and enter the name of the place where you are and type of soil. Then they suggest what type of plants can be grown, what are the ancient native plants that can be grown. And that's what we need to plan with our Swachhata activities. So students have that great power. And I will share one example from Karaikal, Puducherry. Karaikalla, I went to Peruthalaivar Kamaraj College of Education. Ange college ku pinnadi oru water body irukku. They made a water body in just some 150 yards and a depth of 12 feet. They made it, and every time whenever there is rain, the water is collected there. And entire year they use that water for drinking. அது நாகாய்பட்டினம் பீச்சுக்கு கடலுக்கு அது சமீபம்ல அது இருக்கு காரைக்கால். There is only salt water, but now with the rain harvesting there is nice pure drinking potable water. In Karaikal 108 temples are there, 108 temple tanks are there. All were ruined with garbage, filled with garbage and all these things. But ange oru collector Thiru Vijayji, he started the project of rejuvenating the temple tanks. And later on, our adukapram unnorum collector Thiru Vikrant Rajaji, he came and he took it up as a challenge and completed with the help of students and colleges. He completed making 300 water bodies in Karaikal, including that 108 temple tanks. If we go to any temple tank in Karaikal today, we can easily see the fish, the white color, orange color, yellow color, black color fish growing in the temple tank. No pollution, no plastic, nothing. And I asked, what is the inspiration for you? And he shared that he is a student of Loyola College, Chennai. And when he was a student, he used to participate in all the Swachhata works and rural engagement villages he visited, and he learned this outreach from these outreach programs. And when he became collector, immediately he did this, and he did this in 2019 itself. In 1 year he did it. So that is the beauty of higher education institutions. Higher education institutions will give that environment to students. In Coimbatore, there is a place called Lakshmi Nayakapalam, near the airport, 20 kilometers from airport. PhD college NSS students, they went there and they made a water body, and 2 villages are getting borewell water now for drinking because of the wind turbines. That wind electricity turbines, thousands of wind electricity turbines are there, and Adnaltan, the clouds are not closing in, and there is no water, no rain properly. So in this way, many examples are there. And the Madri, your college is also doing many such grand things. But Anna, Namaludia college la inge irikimbodu, we need to think of the other examples. Adinaltan, I gave examples from various other parts. Anna Madurai la, like many things are going, nice things are happening. And also in Madurai Kamaraj University, we can see the water harvesting system. That is the thing. So what I say is all the students should work with higher education institutions closely, understanding the concepts of Swachhata, rural engagement, and social entrepreneurship. We need to apply the concept of social entrepreneurship and learn how we can convert the greenery component into business, water component into business, energy component into business, sanitation hygiene into business, and how we can make the waste into business, and all these things. So in this way, I thought I will present few things from my learnings practically. And one last example I would like to give. Why I should tell you about ange anda madri, inge inda madri irukku. I will tell. என்னுடைய வீடு roof மேலே terrace garden இருக்கு. I grow vegetables, and I have a customer list, and I work on the profile of the customer. I sell the organic vegetables to pregnant mothers. Pregnant mothers nowadays in Hyderabad, they are very conscious of their health. They want to eat organically grown chilies, organic leafy vegetables, organic vegetables they want, because the growing baby should not get these pollutants, these chemicals into the body. Adinaltan, I started a business of it. So every person needs to start a business. There is a saying in our Indian system, in our Shastras, there is a saying, a philosopher without an assignment is a hypocrite. That means hypocrisy means keeping something out, telling something outside and keeping something in mind. Philosopher should always engage himself in assignments. So all the textbook, whatever we are having in our mind, should get converted into context, and context should become text. We need to work and stand on our own feet. It is not that this is very new concept. Always it has been there. And like that, many entrepreneurs are there, social entrepreneurs. And social entrepreneurship is a promising sector where you will have no loss. And you don't require much investment, because your very starting day itself, there will be sales and market. Because I told you, we work for social challenge, and when there is social challenge, people want remedy, solution, and solutions we are giving, and solutions are business converted into business. That's why all these things can happen. So as a part of your everyday work, please think of these ideas, how I can stand on my own feet, and keep writing the points and read many things about social entrepreneurship, and put your ideas and start your own business. When you go out of this college, you should go as an entrepreneur with your own startup, and other best wishes for you. So I think I have taken a lot of time. Now the time is almost, I exceeded more than 1 hour. Sorry, but I wanted to share all these things. So like this, the college can have this type of meetings. The college can have external committee for SES REC. The college will have the leadership team, faculty members team, students team, and the fourth one is other external committee, ANA, government officials, commissioner, deputy commissioner, collectors, government schemes, huh? Then village householders, sarpanch, farmers, then weavers, artisans, craftsmen, celebrities, organizations, religious organization, non-religious organization, media, scientists, think tanks, all these members should become a part of your college. And they will also take part in this type of online programs and also offline programs after Corona. And definitely every student will come out with one business idea and with their own business of social entrepreneurship. And that is what I looking forward also. Thank you. Rumba Nandri Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. I invite Mrs. Meena Lakshmi ma'am, NSS coordinator, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Naveen sir. So it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks for this a wonderful webinar, Social Entrepreneurship and Swatchhata and Rural Engagement webinar. I would like to profoundly thank Mr. Naveen Kumarji, Project Chief Program Coordinator, Swatchhata Action Plan 2020, Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education, Director of Higher Education, and then Ministry of Education, Government of India. So for joining us virtually and for providing us with a wonderful webinar session. I can't express how grateful we are to be here this session. It was indeed a lifetime opportunity for us to attend this webinar, especially on the topic SES REC, which is great opportunity to learn the life timeline concept during this pandemic situation. It is also important to know to extend our service activity in virtual learning during this period of time. The way you explain the topic is exemplary, sir. We are deeply honored to have you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to express my profound gratitude of President Dr. G. Mariskumar, sir, for strong support in this webinar. And also, I would like to thank our management for giving a great support on us. I'm happy to express my vote of thanks to our HOD principal, Mrs. D. Kartika Rani ma'am, for her moral support. And also, I would express my vote of thanks to my dear staff members who are having made this webinar a grand success. I heartily congratulate all the students for those who are joining through the YouTube link for their active participation in this event. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.